Dan posed an intriguing question: if every human being were to suddenly vanish from the face of the Earth, how much time would pass before the very last man-made light source burned out? The domino effect, major power grids. Let's start with the most obvious scenario. The vast majority of lights would go dark almost immediately, although electricity demand would plummet. Left on, appliances like refrigerators, climate control systems, and household gadgets would continue to draw power. Traditional thermal power plants, fueled by coal and oil, form the backbone of global energy, but they cannot operate without a constant fuel supply and human oversight. As coal reserves deplete within the first few hours, the remaining parts of the grid would be hit with an overwhelming surge in load. Balancing power distribution is a complex task even for professional dispatchers. Without them, a domino effect would occur. These cascading failures would plunge the world's major power grids into total darkness within the first day. The myth of eternal atomic power. Nuclear energy seems like a more durable option, as uranium is millions of times more energy-dense than fossil fuels. One nuclear engineer noted that, in theory, a reactor in low-power mode could run for years. In reality, however, safety protocols would prevent this. Any deviation from the norm or a failure in the main grid, which is inevitable, would trigger an automatic emergency shutdown. Reactors are designed to fail-safe at the slightest risk, meaning nuclear-generated light would extinguish very quickly. Autonomous islands of light. But what about sources independent of the global grid? Diesel generators, in remote settlements or on isolated islands. Lights would stay on only as long as the fuel tanks lasted, anywhere from a few days to a couple of months. Geothermal plants, these facilities, tapping into the Earth's internal heat, would likely last the longest. However, they have an Achilles heel: maintenance. For instance, Icelandic plants require gearbox oil changes and motor regreasing every 6 months. Without human care, the machinery would eventually fail due to corrosion and mechanical wear, though some might endure for a few years. Ultimately, autonomous wind turbines would likely be the last to provide power, continuing until mechanical breakdowns finally forced their blades to a permanent halt. Post-apocalyptic lighthouses. What will still shine centuries from now? In a world without people, the struggle for light becomes a race between mechanical strength and the inexorable passage of time. The resilience of wind and water. Wind turbines are designed for maximum autonomy for a simple reason: there are thousands of them, and maintenance at such altitudes is a logistical nightmare. History offers impressive examples, such as the Gedser turbine in Denmark, which generated electricity for 11 years without a single human intervention. Modern turbines are designed for 3 years of autonomous operation, but some will undoubtedly spin for decades, blinking a single status LED into the void. Eventually, however, their fate is sealed. The lubricant in the gearboxes will dry out, and the mechanisms will seize up. A similar fate awaits hydroelectric power. Engineers at the Hoover Dam estimate that the facility could operate automatically for several years, but without a functioning power grid, this electricity will have nowhere to go. Ultimately, clogged water intakes or mechanical wear will lead to the turbine's eventual shutdown. The death of batteries and the triumph of the sun. Battery-powered lights won't last more than a few decades, even if left unused. Self-discharge is inevitable. Even high-quality batteries, marketed as forever batteries, will completely discharge within 10 to 20 years. Solar energy has a much better chance. Autonomous weather stations and roadside emergency call centers powered by solar panels are scattered around the world. If located in arid regions where electronics remain dry and the occasional breeze or rain washes away dust, these devices can provide light for a century, until corrosion finally eats away the last wires. Solar lamps in deserts will remain the last artificial light sources visible from the Earth's surface, the ghostly glow of nuclear storage facilities. However, there is a more mysterious contender for the title of last source of light. It comes from spent nuclear fuel. Contrary to Hollywood cliches, the radiation itself usually doesn't glow. In vintage watches, it was the phosphorus paint that glowed, not the material itself. But there is one interesting exception: Cherenkov radiation. This is a kind of optical sonic boom that occurs when charged particles move through a medium, such as glass or water, faster than the speed of light in that medium. Some radioactive waste, such as cesium-137, is melted down and encased in glass blocks for long-term storage. In complete darkness, these glass blocks emit a mesmerizing, ethereal blue glow, with a half-life of 30 years. Cesium-137 will retain about 1% of its activity even after 2 centuries. The light will fade over time, but its cool blue hue will remain unchanged. Thus, The final chapter in the history of human illumination will be written deep underground, in concrete bunkers, amidst the most toxic waste of our civilization. A mysterious blue light will continue to flicker for centuries to come.